Yeah, definitely. Guys, are you able to hear me? Am I audible? Can we start? Yeah, good afternoon. Yes, yeah. Am I audible? Yeah. So, guys, we will continue this session with YouTube Live itself because when we started in Zoom, no, two, three students, only three students were there, and they were raising some concern about the security issues of Zoom. That could be the reason why students were not available, and some of them are telling about some network issue also. Actually, I'm more comfortable with YouTube Live rather than Zoom because you said Zoom, then we went for we switched to Zoom. I think two three cases. I mean, students they said that their gallery has been hacked by Zoom when they were using Zoom. So it is better that we can go for YouTube Live. One of the there is an advantage also with YouTube Live. One is that there is no breakage in the session. The disadvantage is that we cannot share the screen, unlike unlike Zoom. That's the main drawback in this YouTube Live. But we can have an uninterrupted session. Absolutely not a problem. So if the audio quality is fine, can I go ahead, guys? Can I start? Is it okay or because I can't hear my own voice? You are hearing it, so you have to tell me. Is the voice is low or is it clear so that we can go ahead? All right. Is it better than Zoom or Zoom is better than YouTube Live when it comes to audio? Okay, it's clear. Fine, fine. So guys, there are only five participants. I'm wondering why is it so very less number of counts. I'm really worried about it. Not by one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Okay, Manisha Reddy, and I would advise you don't think about attendance and stuffs like that. So attendance will take care of it. But you are here because you're paying money and you need to get the service, and you're not here not just to clear the exams also. You're the reason why you are here is for a different cause altogether. You are here so that you can learn research. I think I take it like that. There should not be any other objective for you to be here. Then only you can have good number of attendance. So without wasting our time, let us get into the actual research part of it. It is better than Zoom. Good, very good. So then we can continue with this. So only one drawback with of course you will not have any kind of noise pollution. Of course, the only way that you can interact is only through the chat. That is one drawback. Another drawback is that you can't share the screen. That's the biggest drawback. So in the next session when I am having class in YouTube Live, maybe I will share the slides which I am planning to cover. So now in today's class, I think we covered about measurement and scale. Okay, measurement and scale in the last to last class, two class before, and we had also covered the sampling. Okay, we also covered about on sampling. So both the topics we covered, we talked about what is meant by sampling, different types of sampling, probability sampling, non-probability sampling, and when it comes to measurement and scaling, we discussed about what are the different levels of measurement, where we talked about nominal, ordinal, ratio, interval, all those things we discussed about it, right? So as a as a continuation of measurement and scaling, there is one topic which is left, which I have not covered it in the last session. That topic is about error. Okay, error. So what is meant by, so now you have to listen to me very clearly, because I'm not going to use any kind of screen sharing session, or there is no whiteboard in YouTube. So you have to listen to me very clearly, like a lecture, right? Don't miss the flow, otherwise you will not be able to follow the consecutive sessions. Now, when it comes to the error, think about it. I'm weighing, whenever I'm checking my weight, there is one weighing machine which always gives half kg, which always reads half kg less than my actual weight. If my weight is 70 kg, it always read 69.5 kg. That means this particular weighing machine is a defective weighing machine. It is having some kind of error. Additionally, this 69.5, sometimes it is 69, sometimes it is 62, sometimes it is 63. So based on so many reasons, the fluctuation comes. So whenever I'm weighing my weight in a weighing machine, by default, this weighing machine is having an offset of 0.5 kg weight. Okay. Apart from this, due to several reasons, the way how I stand, or depending on the temperature, or maybe the battery, for n number of reasons in the world, it also fluctuates. That means that if I'm standing on the weighing machine for 10 times, not all 10 times I will get the same reading. There will be plus or minus zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3, zero point 0.1, like this. Now, these are two different types of error. One type of error, the first one that I have told you, is what we call it as systematic error. What is systematic error? Whenever I'm weighing my weight in the weighing machine, it has some kind of offset, maybe plus 5, plus zero point 0.5 kg, or minus zero point 0.5 kg. That is standard, that is always there. Apart from the systematic error, I also have an error called random error. So whenever I say error, there are two different kinds of error. One is that systematic error, that is the error which is present in the measuring instrument by default, and this systematic error can be calculated by calibrating the measuring instrument. So if the calibration of measuring instrument is offset by zero point 0.5, you need to recalibrate it. So you have, or you can adjust that zero point 0.5 while you are calculating it. You can adjust it. But apart from this, the one which is very tough, and something which is a point of concern for a researcher, is that random error, because you cannot predict a random error like a systematic error. Systematic error is known. Like if at all, if I'm asking you, okay, come on, go and check weighing machine, but this weighing machine always shows 1 kg less or 1 kg more. That is systematic error. But random error is something which you cannot predict. It might come or it might not come. So that is what we call it as random error. So every time, whenever I'm checking the weight, 10 times I will get 10 different kinds of reading. So this is what we call it as random error. Now, we as a researcher, we might also face this type of problem measuring, whenever we are measuring our respondents. It might be weighing machine, or it might be scale, or it might be tape, or it might be uh, or it might be a questionnaire. Okay, it might be a questionnaire. So for me, measurement, I don't see much difference between a normal scale and a questionnaire, because both are same, right? So now, how do I tackle this random error? What are all the ways that I tackle this random error? Now there is something called reliability. Okay, there is a concept called reliability. Now for this we need to have something like reliability. So we are going to discuss about two more concepts through which I can avoid this random error. One concept is reliability, and the another concept is validity. Now, what is meant by this reliability, guys? This reliability is nothing but repeatability. Okay, repeatability or to get the say same error. Say for example, this reliability is something related with the consistency. Say for example, when do I say that okay, if I say that okay, Ramiz Raja is a reliable person because he comes to class regularly. What I mean by Ramiz Raza is reliable in this case is that he attends online classes regularly. So I can tell with full confidence that yes, where is Ramiz Raza? That I might ask. Now this is what we call it as reliability. So reliability is repeatability, or in other words, consistency. If somebody is coming to college regularly, if you ask someone, will so and so person comes to college the next day, you would say yes, because he was coming to college regularly. If somebody does not comes to college at all, okay, who gets hooked up in the home and don't come turn up to the college, we call that okay, he will not come because his past record says that he didn't come. So this is what we call it as reliability when it comes to. So reliability is nothing but repeatability. Reliability is nothing but internal consistency, right? Say for example, you take a case of say, uh, uh, someone says that I like you, okay. Let's say that you say that somebody, you say that you love you love someone, okay. Another day the same guy says that okay, I don't love you. Another day he says that I love you. So like this he keeps doing on and on. Like every other alternate day he says that I love you, I'm committed to you. Another day he says that he is not. Another day he says that yes, he loves you. Do you think that that particular guy or a girl is reliable? Absolutely not. Either he has to say yes or he has to say no, and he has to stick to it. This is what we call it as reliability. So whenever I'm conducting a questionnaire, whenever I'm conducting a survey, I need to ensure that the response what I'm getting from the respondents are reliable. That means whatever he says, he should mean what he say. So when I consider that there are different types of reliability. One is that what are all the ways that I can achieve this reliability? Test one way is that test and retest reliability. What do I mean by this test and retest reliability? That means I'm actually measuring the same instrument one more time. Are you getting what I'm saying, guys? Are you getting what I'm saying? Say, for example, I'm checking my weight. My weight says 70 kg, right? So, to ensure that that particular 70 kg is reliable, what do? I check my weight one more time in the same weighing machine. And this time also, if I'm getting 70 kg, then I can say that yes, this weighing machine is reliable, and the 70 kg of my weight is a reliable data that I can believe on it. This can be applicable for questionnaire also. Say for example, if I'm asking someone, okay, do you like the online classes that is happening through Zoom? Okay, and he says, how do you rate from 1 to 5? Someone says that 4. I'm not quite confident on his response because I'm not sure whether he has read the question properly or not, or just for the sake of telling that he's telling. Again, I'm asking, he's telling 1. Third day, I'm asking, he's telling 5. That means that this particular guy is not reliable. So, to overcome this, what I'm doing is I'm asking the same question again and again. Or in other words, I will ask the same concept, put it across in a different word altogether. Say for example, if at all I wanted to know that who's this, okay, Manisha Reddy is there. So Manisha Reddy, I am telling that, Manisha Reddy, did you eat apple? Says yes. I wanted to ensure that The answer given by Manisha Reddy was reliable. So how do I check? I will ask the same question, put it across in a different way. Was the apple eaten by you? Both has the same meaning. But why did I ask this second question is that that I wanted to ensure that uh, the answer that you are giving is a reliable answer that I can really bet on it, that I can use it for analysis. Let's say that okay, Raju Jitesh Reddy. Okay, Raju Jitesh Reddy. I'm asking to Raju Jitesh that Raju, are you an extrovert? Okay, he says yes, sir. I'm an extrovert. Now, when he says yes, I'm also doubting that he wanted to show that he is an extrovert. That is why he's telling yes, but actually he may not be an extrovert, a very, very talkative person. Okay. So, second question I will be asking, are you a silent person? So for this question, both has the same meaning. Both has the same meaning. First question, I'm asking, hey, are you an extrovert? If he says that, if he's an extrovert, for the second question, are you a talkative person? Ideally, he has to say yes. But if he says no for the second question and yes for the first question, then absolutely I can say that he is not reliable. That means he is neither an extrovert nor an introvert, but he is not a reliable person. Fine. So now this is how you check the reliability of any kind of measurement tool or any kind of questionnaire. Now, if at all, if they're asking like, how do you check the reliability of the questionnaire? It's very simple. You do test, retest reliability. That means ask the same question to the same person two different times. Is he giving the same answer or not? Or to the same person, the same concept, put it across in a different word. Or if it is a physical instrument like weighing machine, ask the person to wait two, three times. If he's giving the same result, that is what we call it as reliable. Okay. Another method is what we call it as split half reliability. Okay. First one I have told you about there's a test retest reliability. Another one is what we call it as split half reliability. What is this split half? Okay, let me not. Okay, let me not talk about the split half reliability because I don't think so. They will ask this. Let me say that the one more way that you can check the reliability of the questionnaire is that, especially this is being used for multiple item scale. Multiple item scale means like Likert scale. So this type of scale, we can check whether the answer what the respondent is giving is reliable or not. So for that, we will be using something called Cronbach alpha. Okay, Cronbach alpha is a kind of tool which measures the internal consistency of the indicators of the particular construct. Okay, what do you mean by the internal consistency of the items? See, for example, if at all, and I think we had a deep discussion about this particular topic in the last session itself. But there are certain qualitative parameters in this world which cannot be captured with only one question. If at all I wanted to know your weight, I will ask what is your weight. That is one question is sufficient. If at all I wanted to know your age, I will ask what is your age. One question is sufficient. If at all I wanted to know what is the area of the surface, then two questions is required. What is the length and what is the breadth? If at all I wanted to know the volume, then I will ask length, breadth, and height. That means three questions is required. But when it comes to some qualitative data, like do you trust someone? I can't ask this. I can't measure the trust that one person have upon the another person with only one question. I need to ask four or five questions so that I come to a logical conclusion that yes, so and so person trust the other person, or the other person is a trustworthy person for this particular person. So my point is that for a qualitative parameters like trust, communication, commitment. See, for example, if at all you wanted to know that am I committed to my wife, okay, you can't just ask with only one question, because if you're asking this with only one question, it becomes very, very vague. Okay, it becomes very vague. So you need to find out what is that way that I can capture this particular. Let's say, for example, I have told you about extrovert or an introvert. Okay, extrovert or a classical, my favorite example. Now if I ask someone, okay, Mahima is there, okay, Mahima, I'm asking like, Mahima, are you an extrovert? She might be an introvert, but she wanted to tell to others that she is an extrovert. So what she will do is that she will say, yes, yes, I'm an extrovert, I am a very very talkative girl, but actually she may not. Then how do I check it out? What do I have to do is that I need to read the previous literatures, and I need to check it out. How did people measure somebody as an extrovert or an introvert? So now I come to some set of questions. Question number one: are you a talkative person? Okay, and the answer should be yes. Second question: are you a silent person? Answer should be no. Third question is that, how comfortable are you talking in front of the strangers? Very much comfortable, all those things. So like this, I can have series of questions. The point is that if somebody is an extrovert, there will be a pattern of answers. That means he will be a talkative person, he is not a silent person, he is very much comfortable with the strangers. Okay, he will mingle with others. These are all different qualities of a extrovert. So based on these questions, that means the answer for all these questions should be positive, and one question should be uh, at par with the another question. That means if somebody says, yes, yes, I am a talkative person, he should also be comfortable with the strangers. Then only I can say that both these questions are correlated with each other. See, actually, this Cronbach alpha captures about the internal consistency, or you have learned this correlation, no? Guys, you learned this correlation in stats. Have you learned correlation in stats? Anyone can answer. Guys, you can answer it. Did you learn correlation in statistics through chat? Okay, fine. You have learned correlation in statistics. So this Cronbach alpha measures the correlation between the questions. If you are an introvert, the correlation between the answer for the first question, that is, are you a talkative person, and the answer for the third question, how comfortable that you are with the strangers, ideally should be yes. That means that the correlation should be one, right? So I think why I'm emphasizing about this Cronbach alpha concept is that 2 3 times they have asked about this Cronbach alpha in your exam time. I was just looking at your question paper on research methodology. I saw that they have asked this question on Cronbach alpha. So to be precise, Cronbach alpha measures the internal consistency of various items of the particular construct. What is construct? Construct is a qualitative parameter. What is qualitative parameter? Trust, communication, commitment. These are all some qualitative terms. Quantitative terms: age, salary, all those things are quantitative terms. For quantitative term, only one question is required. For qualitative parameters, you need multiple questions. So this Cronbach alpha measures the internal consistency, or how the questions are correlated between each other, right? So if the Cronbach alpha value is 0, it indicates that there is no consistency between the items in the construct. If the Cronbach alpha value is 1, that means that yes, there is a perfect correlation. Yes, he is a reliable person. Because he said yes, he is a talkative person. He also said no, I am not a silent person. He also said yes, I am comfortable with the strangers. So these questions are perfectly correlated with each other, right? And if the Cronbach alpha value is between zero point 0.8 to 0.95, I can say that it is a good reliability score. 0.7 to zero point 0.8, it is okay. That is also good. Somewhere between zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.7, it is fairly reliable. Lesser than 0.6, it means that it is poor reliable, right? So guys, the Cronbach alpha, the value is between 0 and 1, something which is lesser than zero point 0.0, we would say that yes, there is no internal consistency. We cannot consider the response as a reliable response. Fine. So we are done with the reliability, guys. So this is one way of you can tackle the random error. So we started the class by telling that there are two different kinds of error. One is that systematic error, and the another um, one is systematic error, and the other one is what did I say, that random error. Okay, systematic error which occurs periodically. Okay, because of the offset of the measuring instrument. Random error for n number of reasons. There are two methods wherein we can control the random error. Okay, in reliability. Okay, what is that? Reliability is the internal consistency of the measurement. What are the ways to check the reliability? Test, retest reliability, and Cronbach alpha method. Test, retest reliability means what? Ask the same question to the same person two different times. If it is a weighing machine, ask the person to weigh in the same weighing machine two, three times and take the average. That's it. That's test, retest in a simple terms. What is meant by this Cronbach alpha method? That if you're asking any question, if you're asking any question, if you're asking multiple questions to capture a qualitative parameter, we call it as construct, like trust, communication, commitment. Are you an extrovert, introvert? Are you a honest person? Are you a sensitive person? Are you a trustworthy person? These are all the parameters which you cannot ask with only one question. You need to ask minimum of 4 or 5 questions. If at all you want to check those 4 or 5 questions or consistent, that means is the person is giving positive answer for all the 4 or 5 questions, to check whether he is giving a reliable answer, then that is what we call it as Cronbach alpha. So Cronbach alpha measures the internal consistency to make it very simple. Internal consistency of the indicator. It is actually works based on the correlation. Okay, and the value is between 0 and 1. 1 means that the Cronbach alpha, it is perfect correlation is there. 0 means it is there's no internal consistency. Zero point 0.6, lesser than 0.6 indicate that the reliability is poor. 0.6 to 0.8 indicate that yes, it is very good. Fine. So guys, the second one when it comes to the measurement is that apart from reliability, we have something called validity. What is meant by validity? Validity refers to the question whether we are measuring what we wanted to measure. Okay. See, for example, I wanted to measure. Am I wanted to what I want to measure. Say, for example, let's say that I wanted to measure whether I'm able to communicate to you. Okay. Now, what is the question that I need to ask? I can ask questions like, are you able to hear what I'm saying? Or I might also ask a different type of questions. Through that, I can come to a conclusion that I am able to communicate to you. I can't ask the question like, am I able to communicate to you? That becomes very vague. You understand? If at all I wanted to know that I'm able to communicate to you, I need to ask questions in such a way that it gives me a confidence that I I come to a conclusion that yes, I'm able to communicate to you. I can't ask the question directly because that becomes very vague. What I will ask, I'll ask questions like, guys, if you have any doubt, put it in the chat. If you like, you can put it live. Okay, if you like the session, you can put it live. All those things that I can say, that gives me more and more confident that yes, students are able to understand what I am saying. And if you have any doubt, you can interact it in the chat, and you can have any kind of sessions. And if there is any problem with the audio and video, please raise your hand. So what are all the things that I'm saying? It all comes under the category of communication. That means if at all I want to measure the communication, I need to ask that question which will come to a conclusion that yes, I'm able to come. Say, for example, I'm giving you an assignment. Okay, guys, you please come up with some 5 questions so that you can measure the trust that one person has on the another person. I'm repeating the question which I wanted to give you as an assignment. Let's say that I'm giving you an assignment. Okay, you are going to measure the trust that one person has upon the another person. Okay, and you need to ask minimum 5 questions, and you should not ask questions like do you trust the other person. No, you should not ask that question. That becomes very vague, because once you ask that question, definitely he will say yes. So you need to ask those kind of questions, so that you will get to know that yes, this particular person trusts the other person. Do you have any questions for you? How do you measure this question? Say for example, let's say that okay, okay, Saumya, okay, Saumya, you want to know whether Saumya in general, Saumya trust others. What type of questions that you will ask, so that you wanted to know whether Saumya in general will trust the other person in general? What question you will ask? You can put it in chat. Different type of questions you can say. Guys, this has to be an interactive session, then only you can understand. Please come up with your own questions. How do you measure that Saumya trust others in general? Yeah, I'm waiting. Guys, sir couldn't get you. If you're not getting only this, it is fine. If you're not getting anything, then it is a problem. Okay. See, okay, leave that example. Uh, do I trust students? Do I trust students? What type of questions that you will ask me, so that you will come to a conclusion that Amir sir generally trust students? What type of questions that you will ask me? Please ask me any questions. Let's take out Saumya example. What questions that you will ask me, so that you will come to a conclusion that in general I trust students? Come on, guys. Think you all are sleeping. By giving attendance sheet to students. Okay, look at the way how somebody is thinking. Good. With 2 questions, tell me those questions. Put it in short words. Come on, guys. Go ahead. Okay, fine. So you all are sleeping. Leave it. There has to be some standard question that you need to ask. We can ask 2 questions. That has been like, in general, do do you trust students? This one question that you can ask me directly. In general, you have to use the word in general. Second question is that, will you be very careful while dealing with students? Now, why did I say these 2 questions? These 2 questions were globally being used to know whether people trust the government, or to know one person trusts the other person. That means that I did not frame these questions. That was framed by somebody else. And I'm using that particular question to measure the trust that one person has upon the another person. Are you getting this, guys? So now this is what we call it as content validity. This type of validity is what we call it as content validity. That means that I need to know what type of questions that I need to ask to measure. Well, otherwise, see, you look at this trust, commitment, communication, all the three concepts are very closely related. but you need to ask appropriate questions so that you can measure that particular item. And the second type of validity is that it is also kind of say that let's say that how do I know that somebody is intelligent? How do I know that somebody is intelligent? What is the way that I come to know a conclusion that somebody is an intelligent person? I can conduct IQ test, I can conduct cat exam, I can ask your cat score, I can check whether you are attentive in the class. Then I logically come to a conclusion that yes, somebody is intelligent. So this validity is what we call it as concurrent validity. So the first one, what I told was content validity. Second one is measuring by correlating. The second one is what we call it as predictive validity. Sorry about it. Predictive validity. That means through the aptitude test, I come to a conclusion that somebody is an intelligent person. Through the group discussion, I come to a conclusion that somebody is having a leadership skill. And the third type of question is that it is a new measuring technique by correlating them with the established technique. Now, what is that? This is a kind of new technique. That means instead of I asking you that validity, okay, let's say that concurrent validity is a kind of new measurement technique. Instead of if at all uh, let's say that whoever is actively if I come up with my own hypothesis, whoever is very active in the chat, they are able to understand the online session. Okay, now how do I come to a conclusion whether somebody has understood or not? I just look at the previous chat history. Okay, okay, somebody has said, okay, how many times that person has chatted. Let's say that I'm taking okay, Ramiz Raja. Okay, Ramiz Raja, one time he has said good afternoon sir, second time he has said yes sir, and then yeah, two times he has said. Okay, so that means I come to a conclusion that okay, he is active in chat, which indicate that he likes the online session or he is interested in the online session. Now this is what we call it as concurrent validity. That means proving one through the other one. Okay, so guys, I have told you about three different kinds of validity techniques. So validity is what you want to measure is what we call it as validity. Validity means what? Reliability is what? Repeatability. Validity means you are measuring what you want to measure. If at all you wanted to measure communication, you should not end up measuring commitment. If you want to measure trust, you should not end up measuring communication. So what you want to measure is what we call it as validity. And when you are measuring, the measuring item is having some kind of consistency. The person who is giving the answer, is he talking sense? Okay, is he giving the consistent result is what we call as reliability. So of which validity there are three different types. One is that content validity, another one is that concurrent validity, predictive validity. Reliability, I've told you about internal consistency. What are the ways to establish it? One way is that test retest reliability, another way is that Cronbach alpha. So Cronbach alpha, you please underline it because it is very much important. Now, after this, we are going to have one more last chapter, and I think the way how we are progressing, I think maybe another 3 4 sessions we will be done with the research methodology class. I don't think so. There will be anything left that we have not covered. If at all if anything is there, then you please let me know about it. So today's class. I think we are almost done with the measurement and scaling, and the sampling also we are almost completed it. The next topic for our discussion is secondary data. Can we go out with the next one, guys? Are you clear with this reliability and validity? Are you clear with reliability and validity? Can we go on to the next one? Are you clear with reliability and validity and errors? Yeah, can we go ahead to the next one? Can we go on to the next one? Right. Okay. The next topic of our discussion today is about secondary data. Okay. Whenever I'm collecting data, I can classify the data in two different types. One is that primary data, that data which I myself go out, or which I myself collect. That is what we call it as primary data. I might use survey, or I might use telephone, or I might use online, or I can do anything, but that data is collected by me. Okay, this is what we call it as primary data. And another data is what we call it as secondary data. Secondary data is that this particular data was collected by someone already, and it is available in the website, or it is available in the books already. Okay, I need not to worry about it. I just have to use that data for my research purpose. So now in today's session we are going to discuss about the secondary data only, right? So when it comes to the secondary data, okay, I have some slide with me, which I will refer it, and I will share the slides also with you. Okay, right. So secondary data. Okay. Um, what are the benefits? What are the benefits and drawbacks of secondary data? That is something which is important, that they might ask this question. The first and foremost advantage of secondary data is that secondary data, you have the resource advantage. First advantage, that means that you can save a lot of time and money, because you need not to reinvent the wheel. See, you, if at all, I'm giving you a project to find out the market potential of 4G, and this particular data is already available in the internet. Then what is the need for you to do this particular project one more time? What is the need for you to reinvent this wheel one more time? It is not required at all. The second advantage is that this secondary data is easily accessible. That means that it might be available as an article, it might be available as books, or if it is like a census data, it is available in Census of India website. And the third one is that the data is having a very good accuracy and stability, because whenever these type of data is available, especially data like census data, I can tell with full reliability that yes, this data is reliable, because it was collected by the government of India. If I'm giving you a project, okay, find out the number of handicapped people in Devnalli area, and let's say that you have collected some data, and the same data is available in Census of India website also. Which is more reliable? I would say that data which is already available in Census uh, of India is more reliable than this. And the fourth one is that I also can check the data that is available is accurate. I can access the data, and then I can take a call whether to consider this data or not. See, I have told you about four advantages. What is the advantage? First advantage is that resource advantage. That means I can save a lot of time and money. Second advantage is that I can access the data, secondary data, so easily. Third advantage is that the data that is available online, the data that is available as a secondary data in books, journals, is accurate, and it is stable. It doesn't change every time. And the last one is that I have the option to assess the available secondary data is right or wrong. Okay, these are all four different kinds of benefits that you can have for the secondary data. What are the drawbacks? The main drawback of secondary data is that applicability of secondary data. Let's say that I'm giving you a project on what is the income of this Kenamangala people, and let's say that this data is already available in a census, and the problem is this particular data is 5-year old data. That means the data that is available in the website, it is correct data, but it is a very old data. So that means applicability of secondary data uh, to the current scenario is always a point of question. And the second one is that accuracy of the data is also questionable, because if you start taking data from Wikipedia, then I mean there's no reliability that the secondary data is correct, because Wikipedia anyone can edit it, right? Okay, the next one is that there are certain evaluations that you need to do when you consider the secondary data. First of all, let's say that you need to check out that the secondary data that you're planning to use for your research, has they taken enough sampling? Okay, sample has been enough sample has been considered or not, that you have to check it out. You also need to check out what is the method that they have adopted to collect the data, what kind of data analysis that they have done, or is there any manipulation that they have done. You also need to check out the cost benefit analysis. So all those things you need to evaluate. Then you need to come to a logical conclusion that yes, I'll use this secondary data. Just like that, some a piece of paper is available on the road which is having some data, you can't use it for your research, because you need to check it out whether the secondary data that is available, have they taken enough sample, the methodology is right, have they used it, the proper data analysis technique, have they manipulated the data, is there a cost benefit advantage is there, or do I have to go for primary data instead of secondary data? Based on all those checks, then only I can go for secondary data. Okay, fine. So then now finally, I'm going to talk about, which is the most important in the secondary data chapter, is are you there? Are you listening, right? Okay. So the most important chapter on the secondary data is that on the types of secondary data. So majorly, I classify the types of secondary data into two types. One is that internal data sources and external data sources. What is internal data sources? That particular type of secondary data which is available within the organization. What type of data? Let's say that company records, employee records, sales data, financial data. These are all the data which is available within the organization. These type of data is what we call it as secondary data. Let's say that I'm giving you a project. Let's say the why is it so the attrition rate of a particular company is very high. What you will do, you will start digging out the exit interview of the employees. So this particular data is not available in the internet. It is available within the organization. This type of data is what we call it as internal data sources. So these are all different type of internal data sources. So in the exam, they might ask you a question: what is secondary data? What are the different types of secondary data? Secondary data I have told you already. Different types: internal data and external data. What are the different types of internal data? Company data, sales data, financial data, all those things, right? And HR data, employee data, all those things that you can. What are the external data sources? External data sources means that particular data which is available outside the organization, which is available outside the organization. What type of data? Inflation is one data, okay, and there's a GDPI is another data, BSE website is another data, institutional data. So these are all different type of data which is outside, which is externally available. Okay, are you clear with the types of data, guys? Can we go on to the next? We're going to wind up in another 5-10 minutes. Are you clear with the types of data? Basically, types of data I'm dividing into two: internal data and external data. Internal data are like company data, employee data, HR data, all the things, all the items which is available within the four walls of the company. External data: inflation, GDP, uh, uh, GDP, Sensex, all those data are available outside. Okay, fine. And the second topic which comes under the sub classification of secondary data is what we call it as syndicated data sources. What is meant by syndicated data sources? See, syndicated data sources are those kind of data that is, I'll tell you this, I'll give you the exact definition of it. One minute. Okay, see, syndicated data is a, see, you, there is a something called syndicated data. um, Guys, are you there? Are you listening? Are you there? Are you listening? Okay, you are listening. Fine. Mm, right. I'm just taking some kind of motivation. Uh, because see, it is like a monologue. It's not a dialogue. See, whenever I say, whenever I do market research, whenever I do market research, uh, I do this project for my client. Okay, I do this project for my client. So that means if at all I wanted to do market research, I'm talking about applied research. I need a client. My client could be Ratan Tata, my client could be Hindustan Unilever, my client could be Government of India, or my client could be political parties like BJP, Congress, or any kind of political parties for that matter. Now, let's say that if my client is not available, what do I do? I take up my own project, okay? I come up with the data and I sell this data to others. This is what we call it as syndicated data. Let's say, for example, I'm running a market research firm. I don't get any project, okay? What do I do? That I come up with, I'm thinking, okay, let me have my own, I have my own research team. I'm i'm coming up with my own project. That is, nobody has given me a project. I'm coming up with my own project, and the title of my project is Market Potential for 5G in India. And my entire team does a fantastic work, and they come up with a very big bulky report in 2 3 months. Very professional report which has a lot of information in it. And I make this data available to the public, and I charge something around 10,000 rupees if at all you wanted to read this market research report. This is what we call it as syndicated data. You can write your own definition. So that is, syndicated data is a common pooled data which can be accessed by anyone. Most of the time they give money to access the particular data. This is what we call it as syndicated data. And the company which is involved in doing, in making this syndicated data, is what we call it as syndicated data agencies. So basically what they have, they have their own households. They have their own panel members. Especially IMRB is having a panel member of 30,000 household women. So what they does is, IMRB periodically they create some kind of syndicated data telling that what type of shopping behaviors are being done by middle-aged women or household women. How do they come up with this data? Because they have their own panel members of almost 30,000 women. What they do normally, they give some kind of scanner to those women. So whenever they go for shopping, they need to scan the item, whatever that they have purchased, and that particular code goes to IMRB so that they come to know about what type of item they purchase. And data is being sold to this data is being sold to companies like Nestle, HUL, and other companies. So now this is what we call it as syndicated data, and they have something like a panel member is also there. Now, when it comes to the panel, there are different type of panels. There, one is that we have call it as a media panel. What is this? What is this media panel? This media panel is like this TRP. Okay, what they does is that they inject some kind of machine in the television with your permission, and whatever channel that you are watching, they come to know about it, and how much time that you are watching, and who is watching, all those things. Now this type of panel is what we call it as media panel. That means that IMRB with their panel members, they come to know about who is watching what, but upon agreement. Okay. And the second type of panel I have told you about, product purchase panel. That means that whatever item that I'm seeing, for example, I have, let's say that I don't know whether you understood or not, because as I have said, it is going as a monologue. Let's say that I wanted to earn as an extra income. That means I wanted to earn monthly some 2,000 or 3,000 rupees as a pocket money. I'm going to IMRB website. I'm telling that, okay, I don't mind sharing what television channels that I'm watching in my home, and I don't mind sharing what item that I purchased from DMart to IMRB. Can I become your panel member? If they say yes, and what they say is that I'll give you some kind of scanner. You have to scan the item, whatever that you have purchased every month in DMart. This particular panel is what we call it as product purchase panel. The second one I have told you about, TRP. I don't mind. Then what they do is that there is something called the people meter is there, which they will install it in my television. And whenever somebody watches the channel, they come to know about what channel has been watched by who. This is what we call it as media panel. So guys, I have told you three things as a part of the secondary data. One is that syndicated data. I have told you the definition of syndicated data. That means which is a common pool of data which can be accessed by client, which has been done by syndicated research organization agencies. And I have told you about two panels. That is product purchase panel, media panel. Product purchase panel, I have told you an example of how IMRB uses 30,000 household women to get to know about what type of items that they are purchasing. It is panel is meaning they are their own people. Okay. And second thing is a media panel. It is being used for TRP purpose. Any doubt, guys? Do you have any doubt on this? Do you have any doubt? So today we covered extensively. We covered about secondary data. We covered reliability and validity. We also discussed about error. Do you have any doubt on this? The number of participants, if I am not wrong, it is very less or not satisfactory. Guys, any doubt? No. Okay. I am not able to see participant when I pop out except Rishabh Chaudhary. Why is it so? Why is it so? Who are all present, guys? Guys, can you just quickly give your attendance starting from Rishabh Chaudhary now? Okay. Just give present, present. Just type, I will copy paste it. Start. Okay, guys, let me just read out those students who are present. Okay, whoever is in the put present in the chat, I'm copy pasting it. Is there any doubt that you have? The number of, why is it so? The students are very less. Why the students are very less? Why is it so, guys? Why? What is the reason? Viva test. Hmm. What is that Viva? Okay. Chalo guys, okay. Let me have taken much time of yours. Thank you. So can we wind up this session? Okay, we'll wind up. Thank you.